Well, it has finally happened. OpenAI just dropped GPT-5 and I've spent the last few days putting it through its paces. I'll be honest, I went in expecting the usual mix of genuine improvements buried under layers of marketing hype. What I found instead was, well, more complicated than that. Most of these updates are genuinely impressive. Some feel like solutions looking for problems, and others felt more like interesting experiments than practical breakthroughs. Welcome back to AI for Grown-ups. Today, we will explore whether GPT-5 deserves a spot in your workflow or if you're better off sticking with what you've got. So let's get into it. Let's start with what OpenAI is claiming about GPT-5 and let's hear it from the man himself, Sam Altman.
We think you will love using GPT-5 much more than any previous AI. It is useful, it is smart, it is fast, and it's intuitive. GPT-3 was sort of like talking to a high school student. With GPT-4, maybe it was like talking to a college student. But with GPT-5, now it's like talking to an expert, a legitimate PhD level expert in anything, any area you need, on demand, that can help you with whatever your goals are.
They are saying it outperforms the previous version across math, coding, health applications, multimodal uses, reasoning, and writing. Everything supposedly runs better, smarter, and significantly faster, which, if we're honest, is what we kinda expected from GPT-5. But here's what caught my attention. According to OpenAI, factual errors are down by 45%, especially in thinking mode, while hallucinations have been cut by 80%. Now, this might sound like the same thing, but they're actually different problems. Factual errors are when the AI gets real information wrong, like saying the capital of Australia is Sydney. That's incorrect, but it's a genuine mistake about verifiable facts. Hallucinations are more insidious. That's when ChatGPT confidently fabricates information that doesn't exist at all, like citing a research paper that was never published or claiming it completed a task when it actually did nothing. So improvements in both areas are huge for reliability, but the hallucination reduction is particularly important because those fake facts are much harder to catch than simple factual errors. There's also a significant upgrade to the context window, aka the amount of information the AI can hold in its memory during a conversation. GPT-5 now supports up to 256,000 input tokens for context and 144,000 tokens for output, which is a massive jump from previous versions. What this means in practical terms is that you can have much longer conversations, feed it multiple large documents, and work on complex projects without the AI forgetting earlier parts of your conversation. OpenAI has also made significant improvements to safety and honesty. The model is now much better at admitting when it doesn't know something rather than making up plausible sounding answers. What's particularly interesting is that GPT-5 has been trained to be more transparent about its reasoning process. When it's uncertain about something, it's more likely to explain its thought process and highlight areas where you should verify information independently. This represents a real shift toward building AI that's not just more capable, but more trustworthy and honest about its own limitations. The by far most talked about change is the simplification of the user experience. Remember that confusing drop-down menu where you had to choose between GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, GPT-4 for coding, specialized reasoning models, and a dozen other options. That's all gone. GPT-5 is just one model that handles everything: writing, coding, creative tasks, complex reasoning, all in one package. Let's have a look at the GPT-5 model picker over here. No matter if you're on a free or a paid plan, you will see these core options. Auto, which decides how long to think. Fast for instant answers, and thinking for deeper, more accurate responses. At the moment, free users can use thinking just once per day and get 10 messages every 5 hours before it switches you to GPT-5 Mini. If you're on Plus or Team, you'll see the same core modes, but you can unlock extra options like Thinking Mini and legacy models such as GPT-4o, o3, o4 Mini, and GPT 4.1. To turn them on, just go to Settings, click General, and toggle on Show Additional Models. You'll then see those extra choices right here in the menu. So the menu might look similar for everyone, but what you can actually do depends on your subscription. Behind the scenes, GPT-5 works through something called a real-time router. GPT-5 is actually a unified system with a smart, efficient model that answers most questions a deeper reasoning model for harder problems, and a real-time router that quickly decides which to use based on conversation type, complexity, tool needs, and your explicit intent. So when you ask a simple question, it uses the fast model. When you need complex reasoning or say something like think step by step, it automatically switches to the deeper reasoning model. The router decides how to offer the best answer, whether that's responding to user questions quickly or taking additional time to think through complex problems. Now, this change has received mixed reviews from the community. Some users are actually missing the old GPT-4 models and feel like GPT-5 doesn't quite match the quality they were getting before. There's a sense that by trying to be good at everything, GPT-5 might not excel at the particular thing some power users relied on most. Others feel like they've lost control over their AI experience. They knew exactly which model worked best for their workflow, and now they are at the mercy of an algorithm making those decisions for them. OpenAI has actually listened to this initial feedback, and as we have seen early in this video, they added a new toggle in the settings that lets you revert back to previous models if you prefer. But as mentioned, this option is only available for paid users for now. So the new GPT-5 is a bit of a trade-off, especially for free users. The real-time router essentially gives everyone access to optimized performance without needing to understand the technical details of which model works best for what. Alright, enough theory. Let's see how GPT-5 actually performs. I'm going to start with something that's always been a weakness for ChatGPT: natural writing that doesn't scream,
"I was written by a robot."
Previously, it was very easy to detect if the text was written by an AI or not. Let's see if GPT-5 changes that. I'm going to ask it to write a blog post about the future of remote work. Reading through the post, the language feels much more natural compared to what we were used getting from the older models. It starts with a conversational statement, then backs it up with a specific observation that feels real. The writing has personality, it takes a stance, and it's generating this content remarkably fast. I'm consistently seeing a very noticeable speed boost across all writing tasks. But here's a reality check. I ran this remote work content through several AI detection tools, and it consistently scores above 65% chance of being AI generated, with most results coming in significantly higher than that. This is actually similar to or slightly worse than what I was seeing with GPT-4 on the same detection platforms. So while the writing quality has definitely improved and feels more human, the detection algorithms are keeping pace. The better writing style isn't enough to fool the detectors. They're picking up on other patterns and markers that still flag it as AI-generated content. Writing is one thing, but let's talk about where most AI companies see the real money: software development and coding. This is where the biggest use cases are, and with GPT-5, OpenAI is making a serious push into this territory, directly challenging established players like GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Google AI, Claude, and Amazon's Code Whisperer, who have been dominating the coding assistance space so far. So can GPT-5 actually build functional tools that compete with these specialized coding AIs? Let's find out. I'm going to ask it to create a personal productivity dashboard from scratch. Here's my prompt. Create a personal productivity web app that tracks daily goals, calculates productivity streaks, and provides motivational insights based on completion rates. Watch the speed at which the code is being generated. It's absolutely flying through this. And notice something important. I didn't have to specify which model to use for coding or switch to some special coding mode. It just knows what I need and delivers. Here's the finished application. Let me run the code and show you what we've got. We have a working productivity tracker where I can add daily goals for any days in the future, mark them complete once done, track my current streak, and get insights about my productivity patterns. Let's add a few sample goals. Finish budget draft, complete project review. Now I can check these off and watch my streak counter update. The app is calculating completion percentages, showing me my current streak length. I can adjust my daily completion target, and it's even providing me with motivational messages based on my performance. Pretty cool. What's impressive is the user interface quality. Look at these progress bars, the color-coded completion states. This isn't just functional code, it's actually well designed and user-friendly. The remarkable thing isn't just that it works, it's that it was built in under 5 minutes with a single prompt, and in this case required zero debugging. I will definitely make more videos on building web apps in the future using GPT-5, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. One of the biggest talking points when GPT-4 was released was its dramatically improved image generation capabilities. So let's see if GPT-5 has maintained the quality or maybe even improved on it. Let's design a podcast cover art for a business show called Business Decoded. Let's use the following prompt. Create a professional podcast cover design for Business Decoded, a show about making complex business concepts simple. Design should feel modern, trustworthy, and appeal to entrepreneurs and business leaders. The image generation is starting. The speed seems slightly improved here too. We're looking at about 30 seconds to a minute for generation, which is a bit faster than previous versions. And here's the result. Look at the text rendering. Business Decoded. It's sharp and perfectly aligned. The tagline, complex concepts made simple, is properly integrated into the design. This used to be a major pain point. This is clean, professional, and broadcasting ready. One thing that's still missing though is video generation. Unfortunately, we still can't generate videos directly inside ChatGPT. You have to use Sora separately for that. Pro tip, GPT-5 now has personality presets called cynic, robot, listener, and nerd. And these aren't just cosmetic changes. They fundamentally alter how the AI communicates with you without affecting its capabilities or safety. To change the personality presets, go to your profile name on the bottom left corner and then open Settings. From here, click on Personalization and then open Custom Instructions. From here, you can use this drop-down menu to choose the personality of choice. Hit Save and you're good to go. Now let's talk about what hasn't changed. As mentioned earlier, I ran some of this GPT-5 generated content through AI detection tools, and in most cases it still gets flagged as AI generated content. AI content might be quick to make, but it's just as quick to be spotted. You still need human editing, you still need to add your own perspective, and you still need to fact check everything. I also tested some factual claims, and while the hallucination rate does seem lower, it's not zero. ChatGPT still reminds you at the bottom of every conversation that it can make mistakes, and that warning isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The model switching complexity is gone, which removes a major barrier for casual users. But power users might miss some of the specialized model options that gave you more control over specific use cases. So is GPT-5 worth the hype? Here's my take after extensive testing. It's not revolutionary, but it's genuinely better. The speed improvements are real and noticeable. The writing quality has taken a meaningful step up. The coding accuracy is impressive, and the reduced need to debug AI-generated code saves significant time. Most importantly, it's more reliable. Fewer hallucinations mean you can trust it more for research and factual content, though you should still verify important claims. For casual users who found previous versions frustrating or inconsistent, this could be a game changer. For power users, it's a solid upgrade that will make your existing workflows faster and more reliable. Here's what I think is really happening. We are moving from the wow, look what the AI can do phase to the okay, now make it actually useful for most of us phase. And honestly, that's more exciting to me than any demo reel full of impossible promises. And that's a wrap on today's look at GPT-5. If you found this useful, subscribe for more no-nonsense AI videos for grown-ups, and let me know in the comments which AI tool deserves a reality check treatment next. Until then, stay interested, stay practical, and remember, you're not late to the AI party, you're right on time. Catch you in the next one.